Hello, guys, how are you? I hope that you are okay and that you had an amazing week. My name is Anna, and I welcome you to the second video of Survival Kit for a Cruise Ship Musician. On this video, I'm going to tell you about expectations and reality of working on board, which is something I think you're going to love or you're going to hate. There's no middle term. First thing you need to take into consideration is that you're going to be away from your family and friends for quite a long time. For us musicians, the contracts they can be long contracts. They can be up to 8 months because sometimes you are extended. So this means that during this time you're not going to be able to share some important dates with your friends and family. So you're going to miss birthdays, you're going to miss wedding parties. And for people who have children, it's quite hard to be away, especially when they are growing up, because you're going to miss some moments that you will not be there to share with them. So this is something that you need to take into consideration once you decide to work on cruise ships, and be mentally prepared for that. Because if you are going to take this along with you during the contract, you are not going to be feeling good throughout the contract. You're not going to be able to perform or to enjoy your time on board. So you need really to take this to bear this in mind. Other thing is that we are going to be playing several sets a day, usually up to 4 hours a day, with some breaks in between, of course. But this means that you are going to be playing and singing for 4 hours during 6 to 7 days a week. So this is really quite hard. If you are a musician, you understand what I'm telling you about. This is quite hard to be doing this, so you need to be taking care of yourself, of your health, to be always with energy to play during all these hours a day. In Royal Caribbean, we have a non-performance day, which means that usually you play 6 days a week, and you have a non-performance day, which is the day where you can rest. You are going to perform other duties, but at least you are not going to play or to sing. So just try to enjoy this day for you to rest. Another thing that you need to be aware of is that we are going to share cabins. So this means that musicians don't have an individual cabin. The only musicians who have a single cabin are the ones who have guest entertainment contract. But most of the musicians, we have to share cabins. So for example, if you have a four male band, usually they put you two together. So this means that you already know the person who are going to share the cabin, which is really good. In my case, I'm the only female in the band, so this means that I always share my cabin with someone who I don't know. So be prepared that this person is going to be from a different culture, from a different country. They're going to have a different way of living. They can be messy, they can smell, they can be really tidy. So you will need to cope with all these differences between yourselves. So the best thing to do is, I think, to speak with the person whenever you have a problem. Try to solve the problem with that person, and if you really can't do it, just ask your manager to change into a different cabin. I had lucky because whenever I had a problem, I just talked to my roommates and we solved it, so it was quite easy for me. Other thing is that that person can have a different schedule from yours. So for example, when you end working, that person is already sleeping, or when you are sleeping, that person is going to start working. So you need to be very respectful. You need to respect each other's spaces and each other times, and also try to figure out when the person needs some space for herself, and if you need also some space for yourself, just try to speak with that person, because you also have a right to enjoy the cabin by yourself. So you just need to try and speak with the person and solve these differences between yourselves. Another aspect of living on board is that food it's not the same that you are used to at home. For example, I love to eat and I love Portuguese food, and food on board is nothing compared with Portuguese food. So you need to be aware of that sometimes the food that you are going to find at crew messes is not what you are expecting for or what you feel like eating at that day, but you need to solve the situation. So you just need to try, and for example, if you are sick of eating on board, just try to enjoy the port days and go outside and taste local food. You have amazing places in every port you go out, so just try to enjoy sometimes food outside, because the thing is that food it's not that food is bad, but food it's also repeating. So for example, the food that you have on Monday is the food that you're going to have on next Monday. So if you are working for a long time on a cruise ship, you start to know already what you're going to eat every week. So sometimes you need also to use your creativity to try and eat something different with what you have available at the moment. And for last, you also will have to perform emergency duties. So we are not there just to have fun. You have really huge responsibilities on board. If something happens, an emergency happens, you cannot call firefighters. Just imagine you are in the middle of the sea. There's nothing close by. So we are the ones coping with emergency situations. Every crew members is responsible for their lives, for the crew members' lives, and for the guest lives. So these duties you have to take really, really serious. You have to be very responsible because safety will depend on ourselves on board if something happens. But of course, you have the fun part. You have seen already amazing photos of crew members on your social media for sure, and you've seen all the places that we visit. So we are really, really lucky people because we work, we are paid, and we can also travel. In my case, for example, I do what I like, which is to sing. I travel all around the world and I get paid for that. Can you imagine? That's like a dream job. And I can earn like 2 to 3 times more of what I've earned when I used to work here 9 to 5 on land. So this is quite good for me, which means that I can save some money also because I'm not paying my room, I don't pay my food, I don't pay water, I don't pay electricity. So I'm saving some money. Of course, I've spent some money when I go shopping or when I go to eat out at the ports, but I save a lot of money. So guys, save some money, don't go and spend it all at the crew bar, okay? Because one of the goals of being away from your family, one of the purpose of being away from your family, it's also to make some money on board. Other thing is that you will have a lot of things to experience on board. For us musicians, we are able to go to public areas, so we can watch all the shows on board. We can watch the fellow musicians' performance at the venues. We can go and eat at the specialty restaurants all over the ship. We have special fees, so we can try, for example, if you have a non-performance day, you can go on a special dinner with your bandmates or with your friends on board. So this is really good. And as I mentioned before, we have more than 60 nationalities on board, so this is the perfect time to make some friends from all over the world, to learn more languages, to improve your language. For example, if you want to improve your English, this is the perfect opportunity to do so because English is the main language on board and everyone speaks English, so you can practice your English with your crew members, mates, with the guests also. So this is a quite amazing opportunity also to improve your skills on board. As I told you before, you also have amazing parties for crew. We have a department which just is specialized of taking care of crew. So they always do activities for crew members during every week. We have a specialty, we have theme nights, theme parties. For example, we have a night of wine and cheese. We have a night of chicken wings and beer. We have karaoke nights, we have bingo, we have movie nights, we have sports nights. So we have a lot of activities happening on board so that the crew can also have fun and not just work. Because for us musicians, we work like 3 to 4 hours a day, as I told you before, but other crew members in other departments, they can work to 12 to 14 hours a day. So sometimes they also need to get away from their routine and just have some fun with their friends. As you can see, working on a cruise ship is a job as any other job. So you have good things and you have not so good things on board. So it's up to you to make the most of it and try to enjoy and to learn with this experience. But you need to be aware of the downsides and also the good side of working on board. I hope that these tips were useful to you, and I hope that you meet again here with me on next Tuesday for another video of the survival kit for a cruise ship musician. On next Tuesday, I'm going to tell you about what you can prepare on land before you start working on board. So I hope that you have an amazing week. Take care and see you soon.